Evening all. Happy Saturday evening. You find me very tentatively smoking a pipe tonight. First one I've had today. Woke up this morning with a terrible sore mouth. Go around here. Yeah, a bit of a result of smoking the dark bird's eye last night, which bit me rather. Go round here. Come on. And then I had another 2 bowls. I had that meerschaum last night with the filter pad in the bottom. And then I smoked another unfiltered pipe with the filter pad in the bottom. Probably chanced it a bit too much, given that I'm used to smoking filtered pipes. So I woke up this morning and felt like the roof of my mouth had been sandpapered. So rather gingerly smoking this. What I'm smoking is a cheap old Ukrainian pearwood. Tomahawk shape, pickaxe shape, call it what you will. Quite an attractive pipe. Low quality, I mean they're very, very cheap. You know, it's no Dunhill or so evidently, but it does the job. And I'm smoking pretty much the last of my Revor plug in it. I'm drinking with it some still cider. Cheers. What I'm listening to, I'm still going through my Tom Waits collection, playing the whole lot. And this ranks among my top 3 of his albums. I sincerely don't think the man has ever made a dud album. I could listen to all of them. I mean, I'm a big fan of Neil Young as well, but Neil Young has made some right clunkers in his time. Tom Waits, no. Every single one, I think, is a gem in its own way. And he's changed so much throughout his career. Changed styles, he's adapted and developed as an artist. That it's pretty difficult to select, because I think it's an embarrassment of riches. Pretty difficult to pick out your faves. Probably easier for me to pick my top 3 than my top 5 or top 10, because so many albums could make it into the top 5 or top 10, but my top 3, absolutely. Blue Valentine, huge fan of that. Wasn't critically acclaimed when it was released and probably still not considered one of his best, but I love it. Swordfish Trombones, which showed a major shift in the direction his music was going to take. That's a great album. And this one, Bone Machine. I think this is a masterpiece. Fantastic album. And then of the rest, I sort of and ah and change around depending on my mood at the time. Come up here, boy. Come on. There. Just to show he is there. He's a bit miserable today. He had a little bit of an accident on the walk a couple of nights back. Slipped on some loose soil and tore his dew claw, which fellow dog owners will know about. And whenever he's injured himself, he very will rarely let me get near it. You know, he really does turn a bit nasty. Self-preservation, I suppose. But it allowed me to clean it up. I got in there and cleaned it, and I had some hippie scrub and swabbed it down with some cotton buds and that. It's looking a bit better today, but he's a bit gingerly putting his left foot down, front foot. So it's been a bit miserable, and it's been pissing down with rain here all day as well, which neither of us enjoy. So it's been a bit of a funny old day. Where was I up to? I don't know. You'll be pleased to know I've got lighters and tampers lined up down there. No repeat of last night. And many other nights before that. I've been watching a few vids. I've watched one by Uncle Phil's Cellar. If you don't subscribe to Uncle Phil's Cellar, please go and give him a sub. I'll put a link to his channel in the down belows. He's doing a gore at the moment. I can't. How many subs he's got now? I can't remember. I don't enter gores. I've explained this before. Due to financial circumstances, I can't run one of my own, so I don't enter other people's because it wouldn't be right. But it made me think, because he's doing this one he's doing, he asked people to name the most famous person they've ever met. Now, most of mine are British politicians due to the nature of the job that I did. So they won't be actually very well known to people. And a lot of them have since, even people in the UK, have since disappeared off the political scene, so they wouldn't be known to them. But I've met a few prime ministers. And probably the most famous politician I've met was Margaret Thatcher, when she was still Prime Minister. I met her in her office at the House of Commons. It was early 1990, so it's a few months before she was kicked out by her party. After so many years at the top, I mean, she'd been 11 years as Prime Minister. Some consider it to be one of the greatest Prime Ministers this country's ever had. I'm not going to get into politics, but I'm no Tory or Conservative voter, so. But I admired certain qualities that she had. She was certainly a very strong leader. Certain other things that she did to this country I despised, but that's all past history now. But there's no denying she was a very capable politician. But when I met her, it was amazing. Just sort of in the flesh, face to face. She was just a little old lady. Which is odd, considering that at the time I met her, she was probably only a couple of years older than I am now. But this toweringly powerful person that you'd seen on the television and speaking in Parliament was just reduced to someone who looked absolutely worn out and pretty much broken. And a few months later she was gone, to be succeeded by John Major as Prime Minister. John Major, I've also met him. Very chatty, personable bloke. Other than he got this reputation in the UK of being this grey, boring man, but he was actually quite the opposite in person. And there have been many others. But I say that was the nature of my job at the time. Who else have I met? No one really. Yeah, the famous people that I've met, pretty much all politicians and government ministers. They're not always the most interesting of people. I have a natural mistrust of anyone that seeks authority over others, so. The other thing I was thinking of, I watched a video by Stephen Cobbett of the Shire the other day. Cheers. And he mentioned that himself and his wife had put on a couple of eggs to boil and forgotten about them. And they went away and the pan boiled dry, and of course eggs being eggs, enclosed in a hard container, Eventually, once the water's gone, you know what's going to happen when they keep heating up? They exploded all over the kitchen. And it brought back memories of. Not long after my first daughter was born, anyone can remember being a new parent will know what it's like. You're sort of walking around like, once you've had one, when the second one comes along, you're very blasé about it. But with the first one, you're always on, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. You're up and down all night. And we had our firstborn. And we were both absolutely shattered. She was only a couple of weeks old, a few weeks old. Incredible to think when you're given responsibility for nurturing this life that has just come into this world. Nothing quite like it. But for some reason or other, we agreed to have some friends, some close friends of ours over for dinner. Now, I'd usually do the cooking of the main course and the starter. My wife would always handle the puddings because I'm not a pudding person. And they were coming over on the Sunday. So on the Saturday night, she was making preparations to do a banoffee pie. Now, I don't know if this is the established, I've never made a banoffee pie in my life. But the way she made it, which may well be the established way, is you get a tin of condensed milk for starters, and you put it in a pan of boiling water and you cook it. And that effectively makes the like caramelly, milky base to the banoffee pie. You know where this is going, don't you? So we put this tin in the milk, tin of condensed milk, unopened tin of condensed milk in this pan of boiling water, and then flaked out. Only to be woken in the early hours of the morning by this enormous bang. As the pan had boiled dry, the tin had eventually, of course, once the contents had heated and expanded to such an extent in the dry pan, exploded. It pebble dashed the entire kitchen with this sticky, sweet, almost like caramel, all over the ceiling, all over the walls. And because we had people coming for dinner the next day, there was me in the early hours of the morning trying to clear the whole lot up. So such things give you anecdotes to repeat in later life. You alright, boy? He's having a bit of a nibble. Any road up, that's probably enough for tonight. I felt a bit funny today. I think it's the miserable weather hasn't helped. And the sore mouth. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll be back to my effervescent self. My bubbly personality will return. I don't know, I'll talk a load of crap. Cheers all. Happy Saturday. Hope to put up another one tomorrow. It's meant to be a bit drier, a bit warmer, a bit sunnier. And so maybe I will be a bit sunnier as well. In the meantime, cheers. Ta-da and take care.